5:30 happy hour yoga. We'll get going in 2 or 3 minutes. Grab a mat, grab a water bottle, whatever you'd like to accompany your practice this afternoon. And we'll see you real soon. All right. We're waiting for Kathy to show up. Markel may join us. In any event, let's get going. Welcome, Nan. Hey, Nan. Welcome, Jamie. Welcome, Satish. Welcome, Sean. Welcome, Rachel. All right. Finding your feet. From your feet, finding your legs. Relaxing your shoulders long through all sides of the neck, tall through the crown of the head. I'll invite you to bring your hands to the heart with a slight tuck of the chin without straining the neck as you take your attention inward. I'll invite you to soften or even close the eyes and just taking a few breaths to watch your breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mat, our yoga rug, wherever we choose to practice, whatever we choose to practice on. Just arriving here in this time and in this place. Just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of just observing your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath with a long, slow breath in, matched by a long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you exhale, either keeping the belly soft and letting the air whoosh out, or adding a constriction of the low belly in and up towards the heart to squeeze a little more air out. To this deeper, fuller breath, finding the Ujjayi or ocean breath, a slight constriction to the base of the throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice tonight, letting the sound and feel of the Ujjayi breath, sometimes called the ocean breath, be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To the Ujjayi or ocean breath, I'll invite you to find Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate, just behind the teeth. Hard to see, hard to demonstrate. We're trying to keep that tongue to hard palate connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. Finally, with your lips closed, a slight smile, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you close the eyes, I invite you to open the eyes, warming up our shoulders as we inhale the arms up overhead. Exhaling, arms down. 2 more times like this, breathing the arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Adding a forward fold, half sun salutation. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to find length, lifting chin and tail. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's throw down dog into the mix. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And now breathing out, grounding down through the hands. A choice here, we can find our down dog and hold. Those of you guys that know vinyasa, you can always find chaturanga, the yoga push-up, exhaling. Inhaling, opening up. And then exhaling back to down dog and holding. Another great choice might be a child's pose instead. Always working that balance between your effort and your ease. We'll be here for 4 or 5 breaths. Welcome, Lauren. Hello, hello, hello. If the sound's not loud enough, feel free to comment. If it's too loud, also feeling free to comment. I'll try to get the music going. That's a little bit of a mixed bag with Facebook Live. If it sounds bad, tell me and I'll turn it off. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. Welcome, Kathy. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take a jump to the front of the mat. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out. Back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. And then stretching back to your down dog. Or skipping all that and just finding your down dog. And again, another great place to go is the child's pose. Wherever you choose to work, whether it's down dog or child's pose. I'll invite you to breathe into the back plane of your body, using the work of respiration to find a little more freedom, a little more space in your spines. Another couple long, slow breaths here. Welcome, Al. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog shake, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling full. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Hands overhead pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar. We'll add on if you choose. Inhaling up. Exhaling. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or finding that child's pose instead. Kathy, you stay just as you are. I'm going to go sideways for the sideways view here. From down dog, certainly feeling free to hold that shape, or generating more tapas or heat as we inhale forward to the top of a push-up, and then on the exhale, back to down dog. 2 more times like this. Inhaling forward, exhaling, taking it back. This next one, let's hold. Inhaling forward, exhaling and holding. Inhaling and holding. And on that next exhale, drawing it back and holding for another couple of breaths. Always finding that balance between your sthira, your effort, and your sukha, your ease. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling full. Inhaling right into breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. One more warm-up exercise, Surya Namaskar B. It starts with a chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Adding an extra breath, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, and I'll invite you to find a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Welcome, David. Again, I'll go sideways, Kathy, you stay just as you are, and I'll demonstrate the next sequence. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the 3-legged dog. High on the left toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that right foot as far front as you can, landing it lightly as we spin the left heel down, arms up and over the head for warrior 1. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Okay, take your time to find your flow. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Now looking between the hands, lifting that leg even higher, and then bringing that foot on through, landing it lightly, spinning that back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, and then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and then back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Awesome. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to connect down through the fingers as we draw the energy up from the floor. Shoulders engaged at letting the neck relax and the head be heavy or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling fold. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair, knees over toes. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in our legs. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar B. We'll add a hip opening sequence into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Lifted leg straight, I'll invite you to stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up the hip. I'm going to invite you to look under the armpit and try to gander that back foot. And now sweeping that foot on through, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down, finding our warrior one, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and then back to down dog as you walk. Coming back to an even breath, watching that breath as it flows in and out, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip, and then looking under the armpit, trying to gander that back foot. And then sweeping that left foot on through, landing it lightly, bringing the arms up and over the head for hero one shape. And then, when you're ready, finding your low lunge, and then cycling through Vinyasa as you go. And that's a strenuous sequence again. That child's pose might be calling your name, not being shy to answer that call. Awesome. Wherever you choose to work, coming back to an even breath. The Sama Vritti. Sama, same. Vritti, wave. The French word vague. One of the Sanskrit words. You kind of puzzle them out after a while. Hello, Catherine. Thank you. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump. Take a breath to final. Exhaling full. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, standing tall. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, keeping a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet. Long through all sides of the neck, a slight tuck of the chin as we redirect our attention inward. Hands by our side as we lift the chin tall through the crown. Hands find the hips as we step or jump our feet hip width apart. From here, on the inhale, let's bring the arms out to the side. On the exhale, let's bend the knees and cross the hands in front. Inhaling, arms out to the side, and then finding that other cross. And let's do 6 of these. That was 1. Here comes 2. Halfway done. Last 2 each way. 1 more each side. And then back to center. And hands by our side. Let's jump it in thin like a pin. And let's come back to our chair pose. Knees over toes, hands overhead. From here, finding our power chair as we take it lower and then making our legs and thighs as parallel as you can to the floor. The skier's posture. Either hanging out here, always feel free to hang out wherever you are. When we take it back to down dog, either with or without vinyasa, you can walk it back. I'll demonstrate the jump back, which is kind of fun. As we ground down with 2 hands, the hips stay high. We unfold those legs back. And then either cycling through chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and then back to down dog or skipping all that. And stretching straight back. Let's work another 3-legged dog variation, the dragon dog. And we'll keep this one simple. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky. High in the left toes. Now on the exhale, bringing knee to nose, nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. On the inhale, lifting it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. Exhale it forward and hold. Inhale. And on that next exhale, like a snake sticking out its tongue, bringing that foot as far front as you can. And then you want to land the foot. Yeah, there you go. And then grounding that back heel, arms up and over the head for our Warrior One shape. From Warrior One, let's bring hands back to the hips. We can shift weight onto the front foot as we go longer in our stance, letting that back foot back. We can use those hands to set our shoulders. Finding a clasp with the fingers behind the head as we press the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then stretching those hands high. With the breath, without locking that front knee, breathing in, straightening the front leg, palms face back. On the exhale, spinning the palms out as we come to this letter W shape. A couple more times. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, coming to this shape. One more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Now let's hold that letter W as the elbows move back, the hands come with. More space, more freedom across the front of the heart. Now turning Warrior One into Warrior Two as hands find the heart. We can open up those hips. We can kick the back foot in for heel to arch alignment. That's not absolutely necessary. You can keep the wider stance. And then one long arm looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. From here, I'll invite you to paint 3 rainbows, palm faces back, inhaling, straightening front leg, exhaling back to Warrior Two. A couple more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, Warrior Two. And then from here, I'll invite you to find a Rainbow Warrior. A clasp with the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then leading with that heart as we take a forward fold inside the front leg, either parking the torso on top of the thigh or letting the torso hang free, wherever you choose to work. Drawing the shoulders up and back towards the hips as you relax the neck and heavy the head. As we hold this shape, another few breaths. Welcome Peter, welcome Michael. I'll invite you to gently rock the head side to side. You might add a little swing of the shoulders, a little sway of the hips. And then back to center, letting any tension in the neck and shoulders drain down through the crown of the head, into the earth, where it's gone for now. Let me go sideways on this next sequence so you can see both me and Kathy. From here, a tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our Warrior Two. Transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease as we lengthen those ribs. Without locking the knee, we'll bring bottom hand down on shin. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch top hand high. We can look down to the ground, off to the side, or finding our drishti, or eye focus, up past those top fingers. Finding a place that works for you. If you take it, your drishti up to the sky, that feels too unbalanced, you could always look off to the horizon or down to the ground. You might just play with that, see where your balance is tonight. As we hold the triangle, Trikonasana, with every breath in, I'll invite you to bring energy into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. Every time you breathe out, send the energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both ends of the spine, as you make yourselves bigger in space from the inside out. In our triangle, exploring our lateral top line, as we exhale that top hand front, turning our heart to the floor, a little quarter twist to the torso. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. Couple more times, exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling, now let's add on. Bottom hand joins, we take that quarter twist out of the torso, pure side motion, we breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over and hold. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers, keeping our hands supple. Maybe a little smile on that face. And then finding your half moon as hand finds the hip. We'll step the back foot in. Right hand well off to the right as we set our base. Shifting weight into right foot and right hand as we lift that back leg. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch hand high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, off to the horizon, or up past those top fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. Again, with every breath in, gathering energy in your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. Every time you breathe out, getting yourselves bigger in space as you send that energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, and both ends of the spine. One more long, smooth breath here. And then on that next exhale, I invite you to bring hand to the hip. We can bend the standing leg, back foot low, low, low. 2 feet find the floor. From that foundation, back to your warrior 2. And then I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Welcome, Lee. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. 5th chakra, communication. Listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath, your ocean breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi breath flows out. Wherever you are, always feeling free. Stay there. From down dog, let's do that sequence on our second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a 3-legged dog. Right, left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Yeah, left, right. Now we're going to bring knee to nose, nose to knee. Exhaling. And inhale it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. This last one will hold. Exhale it forward. Inhale and hold. And on that exhale, almost like a snake sticking out its tongue, you're going to bring that foot front, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down. Finding your balance as you bring the arms up and over the head for our warrior 1. From here, we can bring hands back to the hips as we lengthen our stance, if appropriate. As we shift weight onto the front foot, we can scoot that back foot back, and you'll notice I have heel-to-heel alignment here. That's the standard alignment. You could always go wider. From here, we can bring our hands to our shoulders, squaring our shoulders front. Maybe switching the clasp of the fingers as we bring hands behind head, pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat, 4th and 5th chakra, community and communication. And then keeping that, stretching hands high to the sky. And with the breath, straightening that front leg as we gather up the energy, exhaling as we offer it out. 2 more times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out, and holding this letter W shape as we take a big breath into our heart. From here, turning warrior 1 into warrior 2. As hands find the heart, we can open up the hips to face side wall. We might kick that back foot in just a tad for heel to arch alignment. And then finding 1 long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of stira, effort, and sukha, ease. From here, painting 3 rainbows, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling, warrior 2. And then finding that rainbow warrior, that clasp of the fingers behind the back. Again, you might switch the clasp of the fingers. Shoulder blades back and down onto the ribs. And then leading with the heart as we find a forward fold inside the front leg. Either parking the torso on top of the thigh or letting the torso hang free wherever you choose to work. Relaxed neck, heavy head. I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway as we release tension in the neck and shoulders. And then letting that tension drain down from the crown of the head into the earth, like a gentle rain from heaven. 1 more long, smooth breath. On the tail end of an exhale, a tuck of the chin as we bring it on up, coming back to our warrior 2 shape. Transitioning to the triangle, Trikonasana, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. As we deepen that crease, we lengthen those ribs. Keeping a little spring in the knee as we set our foundation, bottom hand on shin. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch hand high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, very grounding, off to the horizon, or up to the sky. And you might try all 3. Maybe noticing any difference between the two sides. Are you more balanced left? Are you more balanced right? And part of our yoga is just that self-examination. So Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. The unexamined yoga is not really yoga. From here, let's explore that lateral top line as we exhale that top hand front, turning heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. A couple more times. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. Now the bottom hand joins. We take that little twist out of the torso. Pure side motion. Push-ups for our side waist. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling one more time, breathing it up. Exhale it over and allow you to hold as we wiggle those fingers, keeping our hands supple. And then moving towards the balance challenge. Hand finds the hip. We scoot that back foot in. Left hand off to the left, setting our base. Let's suggest a nice wide base here. Shifting weight into hand and foot as we lift that back leg. We can set the shoulder, we can stretch hand high. And then finding a drishti or eye focus that works for your balance, your breath, either down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky. With every breath in, gathering energy in your center of balance. With every breath out, sending that energy out through the arms, the legs, both ends of the spine, as you make yourself bigger in space. One more long, smooth breath here. And then on an exhale, I'll invite you to bring hand to the hip, softening the front knee, back foot low as we find our warrior two. From warrior two, back to vinyasa if you choose. As we windmill the arms, either finding low lunge and cycling through vinyasa, or low lunge and stretching straight back, or maybe choosing a child's pose instead. Always finding that balance between your sthira and your sukha. You can remember sthira, the stirring up energy, the effort energy. Sukha, the sugary energy, the easeful energy. It sounds like the word for sugar, azúcar in Spanish, sucre in French. The Sanskrit is interesting because it really has a lot of correlations with the languages that we're more familiar with as most of us grew up. North America, Europe, wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Hail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a step, jump down. Take a breath to finally. On the exhale, fold. On the inhale, we'll come back to our chair, stay low, knees over toes. Exhaling, more strength in our legs as we take it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. Exhaling, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press those palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged, strong, steady, and sure in our center. Again, a slight tuck of the chin without straining the neck. And then hands by our side. Let's work through a balance sequence with a twisted standing shape. We'll do the balance first and then the twisted standing shape. So from here, let's bring hands to hips as we step or jump our feet hip width apart. Shifting weight onto right foot as we let our left foot get light. And let's find a standing half lotus here as we bring our ankle on top of our thigh. It's above the knee here. Hands find the hips as we sit down in an invisible chair. Let's keep the knee or the foot of that bent front leg flexed to engage the muscles around the knee. Either keeping hands on hips or hands find the heart. Either hands stay at the heart or we stretch those hands high. If the hands went high, they can come back to the hips. From here, we can straighten the standing leg as we lift that left thigh high. Now we can point the toe as we go long through the leg. I invite you to lean back. Lean forward just a little bit. We don't want to lean back. We want the action in our front center, not our back center. Lifting that leg just a little higher. And then let's land it in a cross step. From here, let's bend the knees a lot. Front of the back knee pushes into back of front knee as we lower our center of balance. From here, arms up and over the head, just like in the sun sounds. And then leading with the heart as we fold. Just like in the sun sounds, take a breath to lift the heart. And then folding and holding. And I'm going to invite you to draw the shoulders up and back towards the hips as you relax the neck. And heavy the head. Again, feeling any tension in the neck and shoulders raining down to the crown of the head like a gentle rain from heaven. As we hold this cross-legged forward fold, any amount, I'll invite you to circle the hips as we invite more prana, more life force into our hips. It doesn't have to be a big circle, but it could be a big circle. Let it be your circle. It could be a fast circle, slow circle. Might not even be a perfect circle. Most probably it isn't. Now taking those imperfect circles the other way. Perfection only exists in a geometry textbook. With the human body, there's lots of curves, there's angles, and that's the beauty of our bodies. From this circling of the hips, I'll invite you to come back to center. Let's carefully unwind the legs as we step that front leg back to find our low lunge. In our low lunge, I'll invite you to find more stretch in your legs as you take the lunge longer, stepping back foot back. One more time, let's take it back for more stretch. And then I'll invite you to walk your hands inside your feet as we make the feet parallel. Heels can angle out just a tad as we bound down through the big toes. Just like in the sun cells, take a breath to find length. And then folding and holding, either keeping your hands right where they are or scooting the fingers back to the toes as you challenge your balance. Either holding the pose in stillness, relative stillness, or challenging that balance as you rock your body weight front to back, back to front. And then letting a little more weight collect towards the toes as you step on the floor harder, lifting the hips higher and folding a little deeper. Get to a place. You can see both of us here. From here, let's walk our hands to the back of our mats. Left hand outside, left foot. Right hand catches the outside of the shin. Two straight legs as we look under the left armpit. Now bending that front leg deeply as we push into near foot. Straightening front leg, bending near leg, the back leg, as we push into that far foot. Two straight legs, let's release the shin, let's walk the hands through center. Now right hand outside, right foot, front foot. Left hand catches the outside of front leg shin. Two straight legs as we look under that armpit. Now bending that back leg, that far leg, as we push into near foot. Straightening back leg, bending near leg, as we push into far foot. Two straight legs, let's keep the hands front as we lift up the heels and spin on the toes, coming back to our low lunge facing front. Let's keep that back heel lifted for a balance challenge as we bring hands to our hips. From here, challenging that balance as we stretch hands high to the sky. Let's work with the shoulders a little bit here. As we bring the shoulders up to the ears, inhaling. On the exhale, just let them drop. A couple more times. Inhale it up. On the exhale, just let it drop. Breathing it up. And just letting it drop. From here, let's bring hands back to our hips. And let's ground that back knee. I'll go sideways here so you can see what I'm doing with that back foot. I'm going to let you unfurl the foot. Can you guys see that? Let me move back a little bit. So the back foot is not tucked, it's unfurled. And I like that. It's a nice stretch between the ankle and the top of the foot. I also find it a little more grounding than tucked toes. From here, let's bring hands to hips as we find our balance. Let's keep hand on hip or front leg. We'll find length on the far side, reaching up. And we're going to reach. And we'll find a grounded lunge, twisted lunge, starting from the wrist, sliding to the elbow, and then finding our prayer hands, either looking down, off to the side, or up past that top elbow with that mixture of effort and ease. We're twisted, we're balancing, still finding an easeful breath in and an easeful breath out. Let's come out of our twist easily as we frame the front foot with both hands. Now tucking those back toes as we come back to low lunge. And from low lunge back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Feeling free to hold your down dog. Let that on. Again, if you want to find a little more tapas, a little more energy, a little more heat in your body and your breath, we can inhale forward to plank pose, and either staying here, head, hips, and heels in one line, or letting the hips dip just a tad, shoulders engaged, and then lifting it back up to down dog. Inhaling forward to plank and either holding that or letting the hips dip, shoulders stay engaged, and then navel to spine as we lift the hips high. One more time, let's hold. Inhaling forward, exhaling and holding. Inhaling and holding. And on that next exhale, lifting hips high and holding for another breath or so. Depending on your energy level, maybe sneak in a quick child's pose. Always letting your breath make the call. Usually we start to heave our breath. We're working a little too hard. Having said that, we do want to feel the work of inhalation and exhalation. We strengthen those lungs. So, not a yin yoga session by any means. From our down dog shape, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or take a jump from it. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding, and holding. Now we're ready to hold the forward fold as we toe heel the feet wide. Soft knees catching opposite elbows. And then just gently swaying yourself from side to side. Getting into those hips. Releasing and relaxing the low back. Switching across to the elbows. Keep swaying side to side. Now back to center. Let's work the assist on the roll up as we bring hands onto our thighs. Chin is tucked. We push into the thighs to masterfully stack our vertebrae. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. 2 hands high in the air as if you're holding a big ball. Let's take 3 full-body breaths. Fingers and hands can mimic our roots. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then I'll allow you to inhale, hands to heart, either keeping that light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement as we press those palms together, strong, steady, and sure in our center. And then hands by our side as we jump it in, thin like a pin. Let's jump it back out, hip width apart, and we'll move towards that standing half lotus second side. As hands find the hips, we shift our weight onto left foot. Left knee bends, we bring right ankle, move over. And you're good. And we're going to bring that ankle on top of the thigh. We're going to start to sit back as if we're sitting in an invisible chair. Hands either stay on the hips or hands find the heart. Hands either stay here or we stretch those hands high, maybe challenging your balance as you look up to the sky. I find if I feel a little wobbly, if I wiggle those fingers, those twigs, the trunk becomes more steady and sure. High hands, if they went there, come back to the hips. We can straighten the standing leg. We can lift this right thigh high. Pointing the toes, we lean a little bit forward and then long through the leg. Lifting that leg just a little higher. And then we'll land it lightly in a cross step. Bending the knees a lot as front of back knee pushes into back of front knee. Lowering our center of balance. Arms up and over the head just like in the sun cells. And then leading with the heart as we fold. Take a breath to find length as we look up. And then folding and holding. Drawing the shoulders up and back towards the hips as we relax the neck. And heavy the head. Might add a little swing, a little sway. Just connecting with the gravity waves as they move through the universe. And then back to center, long through both sides of the torso, long through both sides of the neck, as your head heavies like a stone down towards the earth. Now adding those hip circles, big circles, little circles, your circles, fast circles, slow circles, whatever feels right and good for your hips, as we invite more energy, more life force, more prana into those hips. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, carefully unwinding the legs as we step that front foot back to find our low lunge. In our low lunge, we'll invite you to take it even longer as we step that foot back. Even longer as we go farther back for more stretch in our legs. And then finding our hands inside the feet as we make the feet parallel. Heels can angle out just a tad as we ground down to the base of the big toes and then spreading the rest of the toes wide. Before we settle into the shape, take a breath to lift chin and tail, and then folding and holding, either keeping the hands right where they are or challenging your balance as you bring the fingers back towards the toes. As we hold this shape, challenging your balance as you rock your body weight, toe, heel, heel, toe. And then letting a little more weight collect towards the toes as you step on the floor harder, lifting the hips higher, and folding a little deeper. Try to relax that neck and heavy that neck. You might get a little swing, a little sway. Keep it loose. We're 80% water, just connecting with that water element, the primordial seed from which we all came way back when. At least it's what they say in the books. From here, let's borrow a triangle from the Shiva Nanda tradition. As we bring left hand center, right hand finds the hip to start the twist. We can use that right hand to set the shoulder. We can stretch that hand high for a big breath into your back. Right hand comes center. Left hand finds left hip, starting the twist. Now adding the shoulder. Now stretching hand high for a big breath into your back. Left hand comes down, lifting up the heels, spinning on the toes as we come back to our low lunge facing front. Balance challenge. We keep that back heel lifted as we bring hands to our hips. And then stretching those hands high to the sky for a high crescent lunge. Feeling a lot of gravity waves tonight. From here, let's work with our shoulders. As we inhale the shoulders up. On the exhale, just let them drop. Breathing them up. Exhale, just let them drop. Breathing them up. On the exhale, just let them drop. And then let's bring hands back to the hips as we ground that back knee. Now go sideways here. You guys stay facing front. I'll demonstrate that unfurled back foot. When we stretch that place where the ankle and the foot connect, feels really good right here. If you wear shoes, you don't often get that stretch. Also nice and stable. From here, hand finds the hip of the front leg. We find length on the far side, reaching up. And then reach, reach, reach. We can start with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow. Finding your prayer hands. Either looking down off to the side or up past that elbow with that steady yet relaxed gaze. Despite the twist, despite the balance challenge, still finding long, smooth breaths in. Long, smooth breaths out. That full body breath, bringing air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your bodies. Coming out of our twist easily as we frame that front foot with both hands. Tucking the back toes, lifting the knee for low lunge. And then one more time tonight, either finding your down dog, cycling through vinyasa, or choosing that child's pose instead. Doing what's right and good for you, moving through space with grace, whether you're moving or not moving. Connecting your body, your breath, your spirit. Finding that bigger connection between ourselves and everything else around us. From down dog when you're ready. Long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling fold. Let's hold the forward fold as we widen our base. Soft knees catching opposite elbows and gently swing it from side to side. Switching the cross of the elbows, keep swaying side to side. And let's come up the safe way as we come center, bringing hands onto our thighs and pushing into the thighs for the assist as we masterfully roll our vertebrae up. From here, 2 hands high in the air as if you're holding a big ball. 3 big full body breaths, fingers and hands can mimic our ribs. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And then I'll invite you to inhale, hands to heart. Either keeping that light press of the palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement, elbows out to the side, shoulders engaged. You might draw the navel in and up towards the heart as we connect with our center. And then hands by our side. Let's jump it in thin like a pin. From thin like a pin, let's stretch right hand high. Left hand sneaks up to catch the wrist. Staying grounded through 2 feet, we'll take a side bend to the left. Left hand tractions the right side of the body for a big breath into your ribs. Now letting your inhale bring you through center, 2 hands by our side. Left hand high, right hand comes up, thumb and forefinger catch the wrist. I know you can't see that, but it looks like that. You can see it with Kathy. And then equal weight in both feet as we take a side bend to the right. And we can use that thumb and forefinger of the right hand to traction the left side of our waist, just breathing into those ribs. Now letting your inhale bring you through center, hands by our side. Let's step or jump it out a little bit wide here. On the inhale, we're going to bring the hands up and over the head, the palms face front. On the exhale, we're going to bend the knees as we bring the hands back and the palms face up. So it looks like this. So inhale, exhale. Might let that exhale spill out to the mouth. And let's do one more. And then back up. And hands by our side. From here, let's jump it out wide like a house. Hands find the hips as we angle the toes out. And let's come to half squat as we rock ourselves down. Bringing the knees over the heels, elbows find the inner thighs, hands find the heart. And I'll invite you to keep rocking that squat from side to side, getting into those hips. Depending on where your knees are tonight, you'll stay right here, or you might drop it all the way down into full squat. If you take it down and your knee says, hey, that's too much, just come right back up. You want to take super good care of your knees. Once they go awry, they're hard to fix, so you want to keep them healthy. From our full squat, let's bring hands behind. If you're in half squat, you can do this also, as we ground down through our backside. From here, let's find Charasana. So it looks like butterfly pose, but it's nice and wide with the feet. External rotation, and there's good separation between the feet. From Charasana, moving towards Kurmasana, the tortoise pose, we're going to feed our forearms underneath our shins. We can lead with the heart, more length, more length, more length. And then either keeping neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum, depending on where your back is tonight, or letting the back soften. Wherever you choose to work, there's a mantra with this shape. Mantra just means a repetition. Some people call it an affirmation. The affirmation or mantra is, I go deep within to find all that I need. I'll say it a couple more times. You can repeat it to yourself or just listen to me. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. From Kurmasana, the tortoise, the turtle, a tuck of the chin as we unfeed our arms out. And then let's find the butterfly, Baddha Konasana, the bound ankle pose. As now we connect the soles of the feet. Either keeping hands on ankles or thumbs find the insoles. And we can open up those feet like we're opening up a book and aiming our heart towards that open book as we fold. Now again, either keeping neutral spine, safest way for any of us, or a safe place for most of our backs, or you'll find that rounded spine. When you round the spine, you feel like you're rounding up and over a ball. You're not collapsing into the shape. You're finding more length, not less. And just breathing into the back plane of your body, exercising those back lungs, trying to keep the shoulders relaxed and the face soft. From here, let's work a balance challenge. We'll tuck the chin, we'll come on up. From here, let's either keeping hands on ankles, or maybe your peace sign fingers catch the big toes. We can rock back onto our tailbone as we try to float the feet. Feet could stay super low. Maybe we start to lift those feet up. Maybe we find this V shape in the air. If you find the V shape in the air, letting those inner thighs lengthen. You can find a little bit of an open heart, open throat. And from here, if you're working on a carpet, this is much easier. We're going to come back to this shape, and our legs are going to be down on the ground. If you want to do it from here, a little bit of dynamism involved. You want to flex the feet as we plump the calves. And then we land ourselves on down. From here, let's find a sundial. As we go to the left, we can use either limb or floor to ground down through our forearm. We can lift the other arm high. And we're trying to keep that arm close to the ear. We're not finding that quarter twist. We're trying to keep pure side waist here as we reach for the big toe. Another great place to breathe into your ribs. Now letting an inhale bring you through center as we reclaim our long, tall spine. And we'll take that other forearm, either using the limb or the floor to ground on down. We'll lift that other hand high and want to keep this pure side bend here. So we're not turning heart to floor. We're reaching for big toes. We stretch out those ribs. Now letting your inhale bring you through center. From here, let's work a wide-legged roll down. And you might want to come a little bit forward, Kathy. Make sure you got some space overhead. And we'll do a nice full body stretch. So I call this the Frankenstein asana. So we've got the arms in front. We start with neutral spine. Now we're going to find C-spine as we tuck tail and chin. We're going to stay grounded through the heels, grounded through the inner thighs as we slowly roll ourselves down. When we get down, arms by the ears, not too low. We want to keep our ribs soft and drawing in as we let the head fall to the floor or mat. Let's just do one of these. So different ways to work it. There's something called neutral pelvis, where we keep a little bit of space between the low back and the floor. That's going to work your low abs. A default and maybe a safer place to work is what we call an imprinted spine as you pressure back hard into the mat. Finding a place to work that works for you as we keep the arms lifted We lift head and chin, we lift one leg, and then we lift the other as we draw everything into center. Smooth breaths in, smooth breaths out. And then I'll invite you to ground down through the legs. As we lay the head down, we bring one hand on the belly, the other hand on top for a big belly breath in through the nose. I'll invite you to spill it out through the mouth. Big breath in through the nose. I'll invite you to let it slip out through pursed lips, almost like it was. And then breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, yoga style. From here, let's bring our arms out to the side, lots of space for our armpits to breathe. We can scoot the head back as we flatten our shoulders, doing whatever else feels right and good for you as we find our Shavasana. We'll be here a couple of minutes. If you're working at home, when I close this session here, feel free to stay in your Shavasana. I usually like to go about 10 minutes in my own practice. Welcome, Greg. Welcome, John. As we hold our Shavasana, letting the front plane of the body fall into the back plane. Letting both planes of the body heavy into the floor. And that ground is always there for us. As we hold our Shavasana, even letting that focus on the breath soften as we take our senses inside, unchaining our minds from the 5 horses of the senses. Those of you at home, feel free to stay in your Shavasana. Those of us here in the room, I'll invite you to invite more prana, more life force into your bodies as we gently wiggle our fingers and toes. Now drawing that energy in towards center as we gently circle the wrists and the ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, intuitive movement, whatever feels right and good for you as you lay on the floor. Now drawing one knee at a time in towards your heart as your hands catch your shins. And then using your thighs to massage your low belly, your center of balance, as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. This pose is called Apanasana, a great pose for digestion as we digest the fruits of our practice. Keeping the knees close in. Stretching long through an arm, rolling onto your side, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head as we share a long, slow breath here on the floor. I invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth, softening your shoulders, relaxing your jaws, softening the corners of your eyes. Neck relaxed, face soft as you press into your hands to come on up, finding a cross-legged sit. I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with the hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. Long through all sides of the neck as we tuck the chin without straining the neck. Soft eyes, and ending our practice as we started. Just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all for practicing with me. Thank you, Kathy, for being here with me. And we'll see you next time. I will put on my Facebook what the schedule is. Not sure about Monday, but we'll try to do Wednesday and Friday. And I'm thinking for the East Coast audience, maybe shift it a little bit earlier so we get a little more nationwide participation. Anyway, stay tuned. Thank you so much for practicing with me. It's Friday night. Have a great, great night. Namaste.